All right, guys, the watch list for May 31st, which is going to be a Wednesday. Look at the daily on the SPY here. This is such a narrow range today, and look at the volume, 35 million. If you go back to the the lowest volume you can find is right here on December 23rd. Going and this chart goes back to July, so almost a year back. December 23rd was the last trading day before Christmas, and the SPY did 36 million, right, in change. Today it did less than that, 35 million. So if you were frustrated at all today, as I was, and I took a red day. I took a red day today. There's no way of knowing when you log in if things are just gonna if it's gonna be completely dead out there until you try a few trades, and that's exactly what happened. I tried a few trades. There was no follow through in anything, and unfortunately, that's it. I was still well within my daily loss parameters, but it was a red day. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. So keep that in mind. I think tomorrow is another. I think somebody said there's a 2-day Jewish holiday. I don't know that for a fact, but so you've got that coupled with today was the day after a 3-day weekend. So it's a pretty dead week, right? I mean, you can just expect a dead week. But the volume was just dead today. So anyway, keep that in mind. Here's my watch list for tomorrow. CETX, really nice pop today. Had the gap up on good news on what was the date? Let me get this right. May 17th, and had a nice 15 million share day, ran up to 450. Finally found support at the 20-day, and then a nice pop today. If you look on 60-minute candles, you can see it. Actually, that's weird. It looks like it. Sometimes when you go to 60s, it shows after hours action. So there was probably a few random prints in after hours. So let me take that off of there. There it is. It's cleaner on 15. So it is kind of interesting over the 370 area. I definitely want to watch that for follow through of that bounce. All right. So that's CETX MTBC. Was getting some nice volume today, relatively speaking, and had a nice pop here, a secondary pop. I just could never get going, but it's certainly interesting on the, I don't know, this is about like a 7-day chart up over 210, 215 area. This one might get going. So I want to watch that one. Lower float stock. HTZ had news after hours, and looks like in after hours it closed at 974 after closing at 942. I believe it was some sort of offering or bond offer. Excuse me, a bond offering or something. So I'm not smart enough to decipher the news, but I do like the fact that it had some sort of offering, and I read a couple tweets on Stock Twits or Twitter or something that basically said they don't have any. They paid off their debt for 2 years. They don't have any debt due till 2020. I can't vouch for that, but if this is one we've been watching lately. If you watch my videos, this is one we've been watching, and I think I've been saying I think value players are going to step in on this thing, right? If you look back at, well, these are 60-minute candles. Even just as recently as mid-April, this thing was 1750, right? Now it's 960. If you go to the daily, back in July, less than a year ago, this thing was over 50 bucks. That doesn't mean much, but it's still interesting. So they might view that as some of their debts paid for, and this one might be up from here. So let's keep a close eye on this HTZ tomorrow. Again, closed after hours at 974, so pretty close to today's high. I think this is definitely one to watch. All right, BORN, Chinese play, very strong volume for this stock, and closed pretty strong. Closed at $1.56. We'll see if we get a red to green on that, something like that tomorrow. FENX, really strong stock. You had a pop here, a little flag, and then a nice pop today on really big volume for this stock. Now, this big volume spike here was still only 563,000 shares, so it's a pretty thin one. But I want to watch that one. NAT, very beaten up. It's getting that what we call downside shape on volume. Certainly oversold. Looking for just a bounce, right? I'm a day trader. I'm not a swing trader, so that is a pretty good bounce play candidate. SPI ran from 40-something cents to 240. And now you've got a couple days lower on declining volume. Pretty good setup for a fourth day play, I guess you'd call it, for a turn back up. Let me try that again. INO, after the gap up. Now we're at 4 red days. Man, we're getting down into that buy zone where like it's retesting the breakout area right over this $7. I'm sorry, 750 area. And generally, I don't like a gap up that just sells off all the way back down to almost a round trip. But at the same time, volume's depleting here, and this one, a lot of times you come back down to the most recent high, and it's a pretty good setup. I like things that pull back to the area between the 8 and the 20 as well. So this one is a pretty good setup for a potential bounce tomorrow. And then SGMO, 4 days in a row down to the 20-day after the gap up and strong volume. Really nice setup for a bounce here as well. Hopefully we'll find a trade in all of these, plus we'll add some gappers in the morning. So I'm going to leave it at that. Enjoy the rest of your evening. See you tomorrow.